everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here. I promised today that I would demonstrate how to use the Wagner furniture sprayer. I picked this up a couple years ago. I went to the General Finishes Flippin' Furniture Expo, and folks from Wagner were there, and they had this little furniture sprayer, and I thought, what a great thing, because I have a big sprayer, but it's kind of a pain in the neck to pull out if I have one single piece. It's a lot more cleanup, it's heavier, it's a lot of work, and my cup is gravity fed, which means if you're holding the sprayer, the cup is up here instead of under here, so I couldn't turn it easily. Of course, then I bought it, and it sat on a shelf for a long time, and I didn't bother to use it. So now I'm testing it on a small table my landlady gave me. Yay, very nice of her. And I'm going to take you over so that you can see it. Anybody posting questions and stuff, I will try hard to get to it because I'm going to have to pay attention to the sprayer and not do damage. Hi Deb, how are you? I'm getting my table in frame so you all can see what I'm doing. So here's the thing. This table was old. I didn't know how old. I didn't know what the deal was with it. It was dark finished. So I started cleaning it to do my standard check to know if it had varnish, if it had to make sure that there was no wax and grease on it. And I started with denatured alcohol, which is my standard procedure to see what is on there, to see if it's solvent. Well, it was, these are the paper towels, and you can see there's all kinds of color coming off. So that told me that there wasn't, the original finish was shellac on it, which meant I needed to seal it because it's old and I didn't want to have any problems with bleeding. So I turned it upside down, and you can see here it's pink. That told me there was a mahogany stain on there. So I've sealed it with a white-based shellac primer because I want to seal in all the stain. And yeah, this is my old can of bins. Shellac primer, Zinsser product. Works. Ooh, I just leaked it on my fingers because I didn't close it well last night. How smart of me. Well, there goes that manicure. So I sealed it. I put it on here. I didn't worry about sanding it or anything today because now I'm going to test the sprayer. And this is what the sprayer looks like. Looks like a little handheld vacuum, and it's basically the same kind of compressor, but instead of sucking out stuff, it blows it out. It comes with great instructions. You can adjust here, the little nozzles here. Depends on which direction you go. You get a spray like this, you get a spray like this, or you get a round spray. I have it set on the angle to get a round spray because I'm working on furniture. So I have a little more control. It had a little glitch when I started setting it up. Back here, this nozzle, it has marks on it I can't get you to see in the camera. But there are little tick marks on it. And this is designed so that you can control the airflow. But I'm used to a sprayer, so this has the trigger here. But once you pull this trigger, you can't adjust the air here. This is the only place. So if you're not comfortable using a sprayer, adjust your airflow back here. Because once you pull this trigger, this thing doesn't move anymore. The directions are pretty clear, except it doesn't tell you that in the pamphlets that they put in the box. And what I'm going to do, I think you can see my charming easel back here. I plugged it in. It's going to be loud. I'm turning it on. And it sounds like a little mini vacuum. And I'm going to test spray it here. I'm using... Now, I'm going to sit down and spray this so that you can see a little better what I'm doing, I think. I'm going to start by turning the table upside down and spraying the bottom. Normally, I don't bother with the bottom of the furniture, but since this is a new tool that I'm working on, I want to test it on the part that's not going to show. So here we go. table upside down. And as you can see, I have a few tools floating around. I had to nail the legs back together. I shouldn't say nail it, just tap them back together because they were a little loose, and then seal them up with glue, wood glue. And if you see, I'm going to bring this a little closer, hopefully not knock the camera over again. You can see there's sort of a pink cast in here, and that's from the old mahogany stain showing through. And this is going to be loud, I apologize. I'm going to start test spraying on the bottom so I can see where I'm going with it. All right, so my thoughts on this are that it's okay. It doesn't spray as well as my big sprayer does. I have more control over it. I think the spray is a little splotchy. It sputters. It's good. I think it might work better for a thicker paint a little bit more. Maybe I shouldn't thin my set coat down like I normally do. And it's fine. It's just not going to give that super smooth metallic car finish that I want for most of my metallic paints. But it will eliminate a lot of the other problems that I have with metallic paints, which means I won't have roller marks and I won't have need to stipple it, and I won't have funny lap lines. I'm going to continue to paint this. I have to think about how I want to approach this a little more, because usually when I'm spraying, it's a little easier than this. This is a little harder. Again, if you can see over here, it's kind of sputtery. You can see it on the walls over here. The spray is not, it's not fine. It sprays like a $70 sprayer, which is exactly what it is. You can get these at Home Depot. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just not going to give you the super high-end finish that you'd like, which is what I look for in my sprayer. It'll solve a lot of problems for me. I think it's going to be great for spraying on primers and base coats. You can spray oil-based and water-based products through it. The only thing I didn't spray through this was the shellac primer that I put on, because the thing is plastic. And I'm concerned with putting it into the plastic and then having to clean it, and having it, the tip and everything needs to be soaked in alcohol. It'll soften the plastic up. It doesn't say anything in Wagner's booklet about using shellac-based products or alcohol solvent products. But I will tell you right now, I'm not going to try it. I think that would be a test that's not great. And given that this is sputtering with set coat, which is a heavier product, shellac primers are thin, and it's going to sputter like crazy, and they dry faster. And I have a feeling I'll have my needle clogged up again. So I'm not going to do that, but it says it's great for chalk paints. It says it's great for water-based paints. Anything, it says it's fine for oil-based, so obviously you have to use mineral spirits to clean up after that. I'm just not crazy about the spray. We've got new people coming in to see this now, so I may turn the table around a little bit and spray it again. Again, looks like a little vacuum cleaner, has the same kind of propulsion. It's a great quick time saver. It just isn't super controlled with the spray and everything like that. It's a little sputtery. They say in the notes, if it's a little sputtery, you can do this or you can do that. Well, quite frankly, I've been spraying a while, so I am not convinced that their solutions are the answers, considering I know a little better than the average person coming to buy it at Home Depot would know how to use this. So I think it's sort of like the little Wagner that you would, the big, you know, you have big Wagners that they show all the guys spraying their garage doors with on TV. Well, this is kind of the furniture version of this. Now, I'm going to turn it around again. I'm going to show you, but even the back spray on this, just so you see, it's already sprayed the engine for it, you know, my little reverse vacuum cleaner. And it really does. It has the hose like the reverse vacuum cleaner. It has the rear vent like the vacuum cleaner. It just blows air instead of sucks up dirt. So I'm going to move this around. I'm going to turn this screen around. Hopefully you'll be able to see, and I won't throw the phone on the floor again. All right. I'm going to turn my table. So we can see here, I haven't gotten any spray over there. Sorry, this is going to be loud again for those who haven't heard it before. I apologize. Thanks, Martin. Yes, I'm going to vacuum my studio, but not right this very second. I'm actually spraying. I have a different tool for vacuuming. It's called a vacuum. Seriously, I'm doing thin, light sprays on this because I don't want dripping. It's very easy to drip. But I want to figure out how this spray is really going to work. And again, even at a distance, I'm getting a lot of overspray, which is something they say that this really doesn't have. I have a little struggle with the paint beading up. Let me see if I can get you in close enough to see. Gotta take the phone off the stand. You can see that it's a little bit pilly. Sorry about my fingers. I gotta put the camera back on the stand. So, can the sprayer be turned down? Well, that's what I was trying to work on. On the back of this, this is supposed to be your air control. However, if you use the nozzle, it has a little pin in here that shoves the air control into a locked position, and the only control you have is through the sprayer. Now, whether or not this pin is supposed to pop back out, I can't find in the instructions, or as I sometimes call them, the destructions. So I've been playing with this since before I started the camera. I cannot readjust the airflow that's coming out when I hit the spray. It's absolutely locked in place. So maybe that's a thing that's supposed to happen with this sprayer, but considering this is the first time I've used it out of the box and it's locked in place, it's another thing to consider. I'll use it. Yeah, that's awful. You saw all the overspray. There's a reason half the stuff in my studio is all tarped off. The compressor itself does not have a dial on it. There is nothing. It's really simple. It really is a little vacuum cleaner pump. So you can see that there's no way to adjust it here. There's just an on and an off switch right here. And so the airflow is supposed to be adjusted here. And if you read the directions, it says you adjust the airflow here. And once you're more comfortable with the spray, you start using the trigger. Well, I squeezed the trigger and it locked this little pin in place. So that's what it is. This is really not designed as a high-end pro product. It's designed for the DIYer. It'll solve problems. It'll make it easy for me to spray a base coat on something. I must need a life preserver to recover. Well, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but okay. It's a DIY product. Now, I got some paint still in here. I can use it to spray sample boards. I can use it to spray on base coats on stuff. It's not what I would use to, if I needed a super fine sprayed finish for a job. No, but it'll work for some of the stuff. You know, I will, a lot of times this is just a base color and I put multiple layers of other stuff over it. So it's fine. I mean, you have one texture versus having brush strokes with it. They run, I want to say, I got mine for $79. I bought it on special. I think they run between $89 and $100 at Home Depot. Again, DIYer's product. You are seeing me use it for the first time. I have never used this until today. It was either going to be a great thing or a disaster. It is what it is. It's not perfect. I will probably play with it once I'm done here, see if I can get the sprayer to adjust, because I'd like to have a little less air coming out. I like the spray to be a little less sputtery. Right now, you can before I'd push the trigger, you could set the airflow from 1 to 4. And when I hit that trigger, it locked it in place at 3.5. So I know there's more airflow coming through here than I'd like. I just can't get it to adjust. Yes, it is worth it if I only use, even if I only use it a couple times. If I want to spray like old world finishing paint on a surface, if I have a big surface and I know I'm going to distress it and sand it and detail it, it's definitely worth the effort. You know, it's light. It's easy to use. Like I said, it's easy to take apart to clean too. It's all plastic, so I don't have to worry about stuff rusting. I just don't know if it's the answer that they want to make it sound like it is. It's certainly not going to give you the high-end professional spray of a bigger sprayer. Where's Max? Max isn't allowed down here in my studio. Max gets into things that are dangerous for him because it's not as big and roomy as when I take him to class. I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I tried it live. I apologize for anybody who saw all this stuff flipping around, because I'm trying to move the camera around. At the same time, I'm trying to show you the furniture. At the same time, I'm trying to deal with a tool. And I've never really done a live before like this. I think I did one once on vacation. But I'm going to tell you right now, that much overspray, when they say the overspray is minimum, if you look back at that wall, thank God I taped up those Veriglamise pieces I was using, because all of them would have metallic bright blue set coat on them. I loved the concept of an easy sprayer. It's just not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Again, I got what I paid for. It won't be a bad thing to have. It's another tool, but will I consider it the thing I want to do if I want to find furniture finish? No. Because as I'm sitting here watching it dry, it looks a little like I put it on with a heavy nap roller. And it's drying with that sort of dimpled texture that I'm not crazy about. I appreciate everybody who showed up and enjoyed having you all here. There's really not much more to say about it. I sprayed the sprayer. You watched me do it live. I've never done it with this one before. It was worth the $80, $79.99 that I paid for it. You get them at Home Depot. Obviously, I don't make any money off of this one. It's okay for what it is. I think right now, if I did it again, I'd probably drape off a little more of my studio, because I have overspray on every can of everything against that wall. Thank God I took other projects out of the way so that nobody would see them. I'm going to finish this when it dries. I'll flip it over and spray the other side, and, you know, we'll see. Thanks, everybody. Have a good Sunday. Or say it isn't Sunday. Jeez. Sorry, everybody. I'm so lost on what day it is. It's Saturday. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks. Bye. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday, January 21st. I'm back in my studio working a little more on the Wagner furniture sprayer. Yesterday's attempts were interesting. I thinned the paint down a bit. and had trouble with the air control. So it sputtered all over the place, and it was pretty messy, and there was a lot of overspray. After I ended the chat, I went back and left the paint full thickness and managed to loosen up the air control. And it works a little differently now, but definitely better. So I'm going to review the process that I did yesterday before I started this table that I'll again show you. I got a table from my neighbor. It was an old table, not in great shape. First thing I did was test it to see whether it was greasy, because old furniture tends to get polished. I did an initial wipe off with denatured alcohol and discovered that not only was I cleaning the dirt off, but I was also taking the finish off, which told me that it was a shellac finish. So I needed to reseal the whole thing, because otherwise the stain that was under the shellac would bleed through whatever water-based paint I put on it. So I did a primer, white-based primer bin. Sorry, the big dribble over the label, but it's by Zinsser. And it's shellac-based primer. Shellac-based primer isolates and seals stains. It also works between oil-based paints and water-based paints, so everything can bond correctly. Then what I did, ooh, sample board fell down, sorry, startled me. Then I picked my color. I had originally chosen Set Coat Metallic Bright Blue, thinned it down about 20-25% with water, and used the sprayer. Well, it sputtered and sprayed everywhere. I had trouble with the air control. So today I'm using Set Coat Metallic Navy, which is a gorgeous color. I played with it yesterday, and I got some better results once I got the air controller straightened out. Again, this is an $80 sprayer. You can get them at Home Depot. It's called the Wagner Home Decor sprayer. And truly what it looks like is a little mini vacuum, only instead of sucking air in, it blows the air out here through this tube to a sprayer. So I've got the sprayer part here, and this time I was able to loosen up the air adjustment. I have less control with the nozzle now. The airflow adjustment is actually through the back. Probably what I got done yesterday was a freak thing. I can't repeat it to get the nozzle to loosen up completely on its own. It doesn't want to work that way. Now what I have in here is Set Coat Metallic Navy, full strength. I'm just screwing this in. By the way, I cleaned this up yesterday. Clean up super easy. Everything's plastic. Washed it out in hot water and a little soap. I could even hit it with a scrub brush. No worry about anything rusting. Now, hopefully I got this clean enough and everything's fine. I really cleaned the hell out of it. I'm watching the needle go back in and out, so there shouldn't be any sprayer issues. By the way, even the needle on this is plastic, so you really don't have an issue of anything getting rusty. More likely than not, it will degrade as plastic. Like from scrubbing, you can wear it out. All right. I am going to test this on sample boards first, partially because I need to prime some sample boards from other work, but also it's a great test ground. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see the test boards, and then I'm going to work today, since I had my back to you, blocked what I was testing on with my behind. I'm going to work to make sure I'm not blocking the testing. All right, so let's see, there's my sample boards. For an easel, I actually just simply have I actually have several of them. These are hollow core doors. I bought them at Home Depot, primed them with shellac primer. When they get nasty, I prime them again. Easiest thing to do, because now I have a place where I can test 2 samples at any one time. This is going to be loud because I'm about to turn the power on. And actually, it'll probably have airflow coming out. I want to check my airflow before I turn this on so that I don't blast it and I can do it manually. I now have it turned on the lowest airflow setting. And you see, paint is coming out. A lot more control, a lot less overspray. But this paint is heavy enough, I want a little more spray coming out. Okay, that worked pretty darn well. Once I got it to the widest open setting, I could pull the trigger back and get more paint out. Now, I have it set for a round spray because I was working on furniture, and that's what they recommend is the round spray. I'm going to adjust the nozzle for a fan spray. Now, the nozzle being side to side means my fan will be like this. Now I gotta lock it in place, I hope. Let's give this a try. Okay, that's actually really nice. Turn this back to me. The control was really quite good on it. I was much happier with it. It's still a little sputtery, but again, it's an $80 sprayer. I don't expect it to work like a $2,000 professional sprayer with air assist and everything else. I'm going to readjust the spray so I can go back to my furniture. I'll probably leave it as it stands right now for the top of it, and then I'm going to work on the legs. It's working better once I get it open to 4. Because my mix is not so liquid, I can actually have much more control about the way this sprays. If you take a look here at the table yesterday, it was really liquid and I got a lot of drips and runs and I was not happy. And it's not like I've never sprayed before, so I was really surprised at how much trouble I had controlling this. But now I'm going to try on this piece of furniture with the heavier set coat amount in it. I'm finding the controls better. The overspray is far less. So I'm going to do the top and then I'm going to do the legs. Let's see how I do. Okay. So here's the top going. Oh, turn it on. I got a spot I missed. Okay, I gotta tell you, I'm much happier with the way this is spraying. I'm getting substantially less overspray. Now, let me come back to you all. One of the challenges with spraying is that you do lose material. In the tests that I've done and work on this table, I've already used over half a quart of product. So the benefits to brushing are that you have much more control over how much product you use. The benefits to spraying are speed and uniform coverage. Now, like anything else, you work better with thin, smooth, light coats. Think of nail polish. You don't want to put on big, heavy, globby layers because it doesn't dry properly and it sags and it makes a mess. So I would recommend anybody doing this, excuse me, got a little piece of fuzz in my mouth. I would recommend anybody doing this, if they're not used to spraying, be prepared that this has a learning curve. Spraying in general has a learning curve. But even I had a little trouble with this when I started. So I'm going to continue to spray this table. Anybody who has any questions, I see I got a few viewers, but I'm not seeing any questions. I'm going to keep going with this. I'm going to change the spray from the vertical spray to the round spray so I can hit the legs. I am then going to let it dry, and later on I will flip it over and spray the bottom. So here we go. Oh, let's try not to just knock everything over. Let's see. I got to adjust the nozzle here. Okay, I got it on round. Now I I just have to make sure that the nozzle is sealed. Again, this is going to be noisy because I got my little vacuum engine on here. And here we go. Yeah, I'll turn it around so you can see me spray. It's not fun just having you sit there and watch me spray. Watch my face while I spray, because I make funny faces. All right, let's get the table in to the view. And let me get my engine out of the way. And I think I gotta turn the whole thing a little bit. There we go. Making sure you're in the view. All right, engine on. Okay, all in all, I'd say that was a huge time saver. Now that I've got a little better control over the airflow, I'm happier with how the spray is. I don't have any drips and sags. I like the weight of the paint a little thicker through this. Now, when you buy this thing, if I can find where I put them, it does come with, obviously, a user manual. It tells you what all the parts are. It tells you what kinds of paints you can use in it. I'm sure this shows in reverse, so you can't read it. It says chalk, milk, latex, tempera, glass paint, chalkboard paint, clear stains, and clear top coats. So it means it can use water-based or oil-based. Again, I did not put shellac through this because shellac is alcohol-based, and the cleaner for alcohol-based products is alcohol, and alcohol can also dissolve plastic. So I'm assuming they don't want you to put it in there if it's gonna eat through the plastic pin and everything. It's got nice directions on what each part of it is, how to use it, how to fill it up, how to water things down. For those who are not familiar with this, it has the spray control directions, which failed me miserably yesterday, but now that I have a better hand on it, it's working much better. Good cleanup directions so that when you take it apart, those who aren't used to a sprayer, it's easy to take a sprayer apart and forget how to reassemble it, although this is kind of idiot-proof as long as you don't lose any of the pieces. I assume that there's a way to replace pins and everything else. All in all, I'm happy with it. Again, this is not going to give me that flawless automotive spray that a high-end sprayer will give me. Where I can control make the spray super fine, all of that. This is kind of limited. You know, if you've seen the ads for Wagner sprayers for people to do on their home at TV, you know, it's a big thing. It goes, cover, they usually show somebody painting their garage. There is overspray, especially the way I was using it, because I don't personally care if I hit overspray in my studio. I wasn't worrying about it. I do have a portable spray tent that I can use. It's just too big for my studio, and I'm not going outside. Even though it's warmed up to 42 degrees, that's a little cold to paint in outside. So I'm okay with this. I can find it really usable. I don't like to pull my big sprayer out. It's an awful lot of work for little jobs like the table I was just showing you, or if I wanted to spray sample boards, which I like to do because sometimes it just I can get away with one coat on a spray as opposed to 2 coats rolling them out. I'm going to do some more sample boards. I got a couple boards that I need for furniture. samples, and I'm just going to finish up this project and then determine what the heck else I'm going to do with this table. I do love this metallic navy blue. It's a stunning color. I really have almost a perfect coat in one spray. There could be a couple touch-up spots, and obviously I have to flip the thing upside down to see where I've missed, because I like, on old pieces of furniture, I like to do not just the top visible parts, I like to do the bottom, because I feel that it seals in all the old mess and nothing's gonna bleed through in a funny, strange place unexpectedly, because I've had it happen. And I think that covers about everything. I don't see anybody coming up with any questions or anything. If you have any questions, feel free to post them when you see this video. I will answer them. And of course, I'm going to edit and marry up yesterday's video and today's video and put them to my YouTube channel, so they will all be available for anybody who's interested all the time. Friendly reminder, my YouTube video membership contest is still on. I will be drawing the winner for Jennifer Ferguson's ostrich skin roller and a furniture stencil from Melanie Royals on January 28th. It will be a live drawing, so if you want to see who wins live, it'll probably be about 2 o'clock on the 28th, it's 2 o'clock Central Time. Depends on what the mood of my assistant, who is my 4-year-old friend Libby. She's the most unbiased person for a drawing. Anyway, have a great Sunday. This was a great experiment. I'm glad I have this thing. I'm sorry it took me a year and a half to pull it out of the box. Sometimes that's just what happens. I get something new, I put it in a box, and I forget it's there because I'm occupied with other things. But this is a cool thing. So all in all, I would say it's worth the $80 or so I paid for this. Again, you can get them at Home Depot. You can order them online. It's the Wagner furniture sprayer. Enjoy it. Thanks. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.